I challenge you to do 10,000 forearm twists in 30 days. If you're up for this challenge, keep watching. Now, if you don't know what a forearm twist is, don't worry, I'll be explaining it in a moment. So, as with all of my challenges, this challenge comes with a PDF, and we're going to use that as the basis for this video. So the first thing to look at is the overview. So hold the racket in the middle of the frame at right angles to your forearm and twist. Let's look at a better view of that. Okay, so that's how you hold the racket. This is how you hold it for the forearm twists. Hand through the space. You can still do it with a teardrop, but it's a little bit harder. So you'll notice that there's not much movement in either plane except in my forearm. I'm keeping my elbow quite close and I'm trying to get the racket moving in a very straight line. Now it's important not to put your elbow in all sorts of places. Don't move your arm. It's not some kind of like baton twirling competition. Notice that that fist is in a direct line. Now you can use two rackets if you want to. I do. I like to balance it. So this is what it looks like with two rackets. Now you'll notice that my left arm is moving a little bit more than my right. My elbow moves more. And you'll notice that one is further forward than the other, so that they don't hit each other, of course. So I'm trying quite hard to keep my elbow still, but it's always quite difficult for me. Don't go too far, don't go too fast. You can adjust the position a little bit, but don't move it too much. Next one is the benefits. Well, the first thing that it will do is it will increase your forearm strength. Now that's important as the long matches go on. You don't want to be making mistakes and you want to be able to keep hitting the ball hard without getting tired. The next thing is that it recreates the basic motion of all forehand and backhand drives, and that's the movement of the forearm. So this exercise, this challenge, will reinforce good technique. And the last benefit is it will allow you to hit the ball harder, and who doesn't want to be able to do that? And it will also give you more control. When you have to use less strength to hit the ball, you'll be able to control it better. Now the prerequisite is basically none. There's no other exercises that you need to have done before doing this. And anybody can do it, complete beginners or advanced club players. So no prerequisites really. Target audience is pretty much everybody. And then the challenge part, as it says, is 10,000 in 30 days. Now let's look at the advice. The first piece of advice is to be twisting the racket at about 100 repetitions a minute. I found that this is the right speed. Anything less and you don't really get the momentum of the racket. Anything more, and because you'll be doing it between 1 and 5 minutes, 5 minutes of non-stop movement, if you're going too fast, I wouldn't want you to stress your forearm. I certainly don't want you to get injured, and I don't see that there's any benefit in going faster than 100 repetitions per minute. Now when I say repetitions, I mean each twist. Now one thing that you can do is, if you are like me and you often daydream when you're doing exercises, you can use a timer. If you get the speed right, 100 repetitions will last you a minute. And then you can just set the timer for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you want to do. I like to count because then if I make a mistake, I have to force myself to either do them again or continue from where I lost count. But I probably should use both options. That's always something that I have done I would potentially recommend. If you do lose count, put the timer there, or at least have a clock that you can see, and then if you lose count, you'll be able to catch up. All right, so those are the pieces of advice. Use a timer, 100 twists per minute. And then the next box in the PDF is the daily checkbox tracker. And as you can see, you've got the first 3 days are 100 twists. And that's it. And as soon as you've done it, you can tick it or you can mark it in any way you want to. It's your choice. And then the next 5 days are 200, and then 7 days, 300, 9 days, 400, and then the final 6 days are 500. So it's that simple. Every time you do them, mark it, and then you will sort of be counting down, as it were. Next box I want to talk about is the time and location. I've said this before in my mindset tips, but research has shown when you set a date and a time for little challenges like this, you are more likely to do it. For example, you could say, in the hall after cleaning my teeth, or in the bedroom before breakfast. Now, you don't have to do morning or evening. It could be at lunchtime. It could be any time in the day. But if you write down where you're going to do it and when, you're more likely to do it. But don't worry if you can't. If you can't do it on that particular time or day, do it another time or do it another day. So if you do miss one day, don't think that it's over and you can stop. No, you can recuperate those twists the next day or the next couple of days. So if you miss one of the 200 twists, well, the next day you could do 300 instead, and then the following day 300. You decide how you want to do it. Don't spread it out over too long a period, because then it will get complicated. No more than 3 days, but if you miss it, do it. And the same for the date and time. If you don't do it in the time that you've written, don't worry. Just do it at a different time and location. It's fine. And then the last box is for your notes and observations. Now, I know 99% of people will not use this box, but having to write something down or be more observant makes you pay more attention. If you have to write a little mark, some observation, you will be more observant about what's happening. Now, you can easily just daydream, and that's fine, but if you pay attention to what you're doing, you'll get extra benefit. This is essentially what is trendy at the moment, which is called mindfulness. Focusing on what you're doing gives you a better result. All right, now if you decide to accept this challenge, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. So when you've done the challenge, please feel free to post a comment, and of course other people will, post well done and that sort of stuff, as I will. And remember, this challenge is about you against the challenge. It's not you against anybody else who else is doing the challenge. It's against you and the challenge. Can you do this challenge? This is a collection of all of the other challenges in the challenge series, and this is a video that YouTube thinks will be interesting for you based on what you've been watching, and this is a subscription button. So if you think my content is useful for you, please consider subscribing. And of course, remember, do something every single day to improve your squash. See ya.